Hi, welcome. I am Claudia Braun, and for those of you who don't know me, I work with women who struggle with stress, emotional eating, and yo-yo dieting. I am going to talk to you today about planning. It's frequently something that I hear when I start working with clients is that they don't have time to have meals for themselves. They're kind of grabbing on the go. They don't have time to exercise. They don't have time to meditate. They don't have time to take time for themselves. So, needless to say, it's not happening. I was talking to a woman yesterday, and she was saying that, she kind of picks up things here, picks up things there, and that's not going to get you results, and it's not getting her results. And so, how do you shift from, kind of a catch as catch can to making deliberate steps to create the results that you want? And it's through planning. And I know for me, and it's still, one of my greatest challenges is to plan ahead, what you're going to eat, where you're going to get the food, how it's going to be made available to you, what you're going to eat for what meals, when you're going to do your grocery shopping, when you're going to exercise, when you're going to, sit down and meditate, when you're going to do a quiet time, when you're going to have some kind of a spiritual practice, meditation, yoga, things like that. So it really does matter in the course of how effective your results are, how well you plan your time. And the way that you do it is by thinking about it, looking at your week in advance. If you kind of do it in the moment, what am I going to do? Chances are things might not go as well as you'd hoped. So really looking at what's coming up. Where can you put in time for yourself? Where can you put in time for meals? When are you going to get to the grocery store? Figure that things take a little bit longer than you expect. It's like, make time for you. I was talking to a client last night, and he's like, I feel like, I have so many things for my time that I'm not, I can't take time for myself. And it's like, the truth is, if you don't take time for yourself, you're not going to have time for anything else. So you have to be the priority and then let other things work out themselves, because if you don't take care of yourself, your thinking's not as good, you don't act in the way that you want to, you don't make the clear decisions that you wish you would, you don't have the energy that you want. So many things are affected by you not taking care of you. And your life runs so much better when you do take care of you and you do prioritize yourself. So really think about your day. Like last night I was at a networking event, and I knew that I had to get food in before, because for me, leaving things to chance that when I get to the event there's going to be food that I want doesn't work for me. I don't like to be in a position where I have to eat what other people put out if it's not what I want and it's not going to go into my plan. So you get to decide, just because you go somewhere and they serve food, if you don't want to eat it and it doesn't work in how you want to set up your eating schedule, you don't have to. So many times I hear my clients say, well, I was at this place, and that's what they had. And it's like, sometimes that works. And if you're starving, have something and make the best choice that you can in the moment. It's not about getting it perfect. But it is also about looking at, if you're going somewhere that typically does not have the things that you want, plan for yourself so that you're not at the mercy of whatever there is, or you're not left starving, or you're not left eating food that isn't what you want and then sets you up, makes you feel bad, and then you beat yourself up later for, the choice that you made. So you get to decide. Thank you. Thanks, Dusty. I really appreciate it. You get to decide. If you don't decide and you don't prioritize yourself, it's not going to happen. Earlier I was talking to my boyfriend, and he hadn't eaten, he hadn't planned for it, he was on his way to an appointment, and he was in a really he was in a really bad mood. And so when you don't eat well, you don't. Hi, Cass. It's really good to see you here. Hi. Hi, Kathleen. It's really great to put yourself on your schedule, because if you don't, you and everybody else pays for it. There really is a difference that happens when you're feeding yourself well and you are able to respond in the way that you want to with people, be present to people. I was talking to a woman yesterday, and she's like, I don't treat my daughter as well as I want to. I'm kind of mean to my husband, and then I feel bad about myself because I feel like I'm not treating myself well. And so it's just this vicious cycle when you don't prioritize yourself and you don't plan in the course of your day. How do you put time in for yourself? And it really is something that if you don't put your attention on it, it's not going to happen. It's not the kind of thing that happens by itself, because most people, yeah, right, Cass, it's so true, right? You get a huge migraine, right? You pay for it. You absolutely do. If you don't say and make the time to sit down and eat a meal and put it in the beginning of your day, it's so easy to get, off and going, and then thank you, Cass, right? And then, halfway through the day, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything for myself. And that doesn't work. You pay for it, and everybody else around you pays for it. And then it's a setup to do the same thing, or to end up eating late at night, and then that sets you up. You don't sleep well, you feel bad about what you ate, and it's just a vicious cycle. So really the key is planning you. It's like thinking about, if you have a child, of course you make sure that, they have food, and you make sure that they have time. They need to sleep, they need a time out. Too much stimulation, not so great. We're no different. And so if we don't prioritize ourselves, make time to plan, to eat, make time to, to take time for yourself, to take quiet time. Yes, you are so right, Cass. Right. Too hungry, you eat everything that you can find, right? It doesn't work. And I really say that don't go more than 4 to 6 hours between meals, because it puts your blood sugar into havoc. And so, you're starving, you're cranky, and it really doesn't go well. And it's really easy to then just go, F it, I'm just going to eat whatever, because you can't make a good decision. So it's really crucial to plan into your day and to think about it. If you're going to have a long day for, if you have meetings or if you're scheduled, to make sure that there are breaks or that there's food that you've prepared so that you can easily do a grab and go. And a grab and go can be healthy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crappy food if you set it up for yourself so that you're going to make a good choice. But it really is key that it has to be you deciding what you want and deciding how it's going to be. Thank you, Cass. Thank you. Feels so good. So appreciate it. Really, even you can't stand in front of the refrigerator and decide what you're going to eat for a meal. I highly recommend that you plan the food before you enter into the refrigerator, especially if you're hungry. Because, it's likely to be that the thing that you first look on is that thing that perhaps isn't the best choice for you. So have a plan before you open the refrigerator door. And, the other thing that I would really recommend, around planning is make sure that, foods that are a temptation for you are not front and center in your refrigerator if you have them there for your, other people in your family, or on your counter, because anything that you're seeing on a regular basis is going to start to play in the back of your head, and it's going to start to call to you, and you're going to want to eat it. And eventually, it's going to end up that you go that way during the course of the day. So make sure that you are setting yourself up to win and not setting yourself up to fail. And really, the choice is yours. And, other people are usually pretty happy to let you take care of them. So if you don't prioritize yourself, it's not going to happen. And you will be the one taking care of others and then resentful. Yes, 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 Cass, yes. So true. So true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bringing things into your house that are not part of your plan is not really in your best interest. Having foods around that create a temptation, it just makes your goal that much harder, and it makes it much more difficult for you to succeed. So better to have those foods that are temptations, eat them out of your house. You know, if you're going to have a treat, let it be something that you have somewhere else, but not in your own home, because it can be really tempting, especially if you're in the beginning part of really making changes around your eating. It's like, don't tempt yourself to see, well, wonder if I can do it. Like, why? You know, this is meant to be something that you can do with ease and success. And if it's too hard, you're going to, you know, willpower will eventually fail you. And so you want to set yourself up to win. And for me, it's all about planning, you know, planning to have the right things in your house so that you can have a good meal. Plan to have, thank you, Cass. Plan to have the right things, you know, that are going to make it easy for you to succeed. Because if you don't, you will likely, you know, do things that you don't want to do and then beat yourself up later and wonder why you can't do this. And so really the key to your success is planning, and planning into your day you. Because if you don't plan yourself into your day, it's not going to happen. Work is very willing to take over. The computer is willing to take over. Children are willing to take over. Spouses are willing to take over. So if you don't plan yourself into your day, it's not going to happen. And it doesn't necessarily have to be all time consuming. But what I see is that if we make a plan, then things go so much better. And really the plan makes it, you know, not that time consuming because we know what we're doing and how we're going to do it. So really, you are the key to your success. You really are. And you can do it. So my intention for you for this weekend is that you look at the week coming up and see what's on your schedule. See where you need to plan in. And if you have something coming up that is always a temptation for you, someone's house, someone, you know, some celebration, some event that you're going to that always trips you up, think about how can you plan it to be different. Because your past is not your future, and you can do it different. And I know that it really just takes this time, and then when you have more and more experiences of knowing that you can do it different, you start to trust yourself more, and this, you know, your wins start to get longer, and you start to feel more competent and confident in this area of your life. So just know that this area is completely changeable, and it really depends on your commitment to planning for your success. You know, as they say, we either plan for our success or we plan for our failure. But either way, you know you're going to plan for it. So it's either deliberate or it's not deliberate. And I highly recommend that you do it deliberately because you're going to be so much happier with your results. So I so appreciate your showing up with me today and appreciate your contribution because it makes it so much more fun for me, and it's way more fun to interact with you. So bye for now, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video, and I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks so much. Thanks for the love, Cass. Bye.